Hey, good morning. What's up? Welcome to REI In Your Car podcast. I hope you're doing well. I just dropped my daughter off at school, and I was thinking about some things here. If I started all over again from high school, what would I do? I would probably not change anything. I went to community college for a couple years, then I went to a Bible college for a couple years, and then I went to community college again, and then I did some internships. I went to Iowa State University for a year, did some internships, and then finally graduated with a bachelor's in civil engineering in 2000. So I graduated high school in 1990, graduated from college in the year 2000. It took me 10 years to graduate. But I learned a lot of good things from that, right? I enjoyed Bible school, even though I never went into the ministry, the professional ministry, you know what I mean? I think we're all in the ministry somehow, in some way. Oh, by the way, like 5 years after that, I got my MBA. Whatever, right? It's nice to get a degree, to have that a sense of accomplishment that you did something. But have I ever used my civil engineering degree? No. Have I ever used my MBA? No. But I'm thinking about this because now we have 4 kids, and our youngest is a freshman in high school, right? And by the way, remind me, I'll talk about that. I'll finish my thought here. But I just bought this new Model X. And you know how sometimes when you're in 2 left turn lanes, and usually everyone goes to the far left? I love this Model X because I get in the whichever lane is shorter, because I know I can pass everybody and cut in front of them. It's one of the funnest things about driving an electric vehicle like this is I just passed 5 or 6 people because I got in the shorter line. And now I just passed my 6th. Let's go. All right, so my youngest is a freshman in high school, and my oldest is 22, just started his 4th year of college, and he's studying to be a chiropractor. Our second oldest son is in community college, just still trying to figure out what he wants to do. He's a smart kid. He's a really good kid. And then our oldest daughter, our number 3, is a senior in high school. She's probably going to go to college. But here's what my whole point in all of this. When I started having kids, I was thinking about this stuff, and I was successful in business, and I'd started a couple companies, and so since I quit my job in 2009, started doing real estate in 2009. And then a year or 2 after that, I started doing the podcast and selling education and publishing information and selling information. And I realized, if you want safety, if you don't want any risk, you should get a job, be an employee for the rest of your life. And if you've got a good college degree, you can have kind of some security and safety, which is important. But I used to look down and criticize college education. But as I've matured and now I have kids, I realize the importance of college. It is actually useful and important. You may not see the dollar for dollar ROI on it with some degrees. Maybe some degrees are pretty much pointless. I don't know, but I have a feeling my opinion on that will change as well. But listen to me. Listen, this is really important. Those of you that are so quick to criticize college and people that go to college, not everyone is cut out to be an entrepreneur. Not everyone has the risk tolerance and the capability and the desire and the stick-to-itiveness to take the risks to start their own business and to run their own companies. As an entrepreneur, it's in my blood, I guess, right? My dad was a janitor at McDonald's when I was born and just liked cleaning. It's the strangest thing. He felt God called him not to ministry full time, but to be a minister in the marketplace. He felt called to start a janitorial business, and he's been cleaning toilets his whole life. Now, he started his own business back in the 70s, cleaning business. We moved quite a bit as a kid, as I did, and he probably started 5 different companies, 5 different janitorial businesses in different cities. And eventually, when we ended up in Iowa, he had the largest cleaning business in the Midwest. 150-something employees, lots and lots of clients. He finally sold everything a few years ago. He's in his mid-70s now, and he's doing well, completely debt-free and doing really good. So he had that entrepreneurial thing in him as well, I think. And maybe I got it passed on. I don't know if it's a gene. I don't know if it's part of your DNA. But here's my point. Not everybody's cut out to be an entrepreneur. Now, my kids, it's interesting because when you are an entrepreneur and you have success in business, I'd be curious to know what you guys think of this and if you have seen the same thing as well, right? Your kids grow up and they don't want to be like dad, right? They want to blaze their own trail. They want to do their own thing. I grew up not thinking I was never embarrassed of my dad as a janitor. I just didn't care. But I didn't want to be a janitor, right? And he offered to let me take over his business. And without a hesitation, I said, no way, never. To this day, I feel a little bad that maybe I said no too quickly. I love my dad. He is the hardest working man I've ever known. But like, I don't want that business. I want my own business. So did I need my college education to get to where I am today? No, but I'm glad I did it because I learned a lot. And I also met my wife. She was not in college, but I met her while I was going to college. I met her at a church we were going to at the time. And now my kids, my two boys have done real estate deals before. They know how much money they can make. When they were doing deals, we did about $153,000 in profits. Now, I only paid them 15% of the profits. And what was interesting is I paid them an hourly wage of $15 an hour. And then out of the deals, I paid myself back. So, if let's say a deal was $10,000 in profit, $1,500 of that profit was theirs, one of theirs. And then if I had already paid them $500 in hourly wages, I only then paid them an extra $1,000, right? But at the time for them, they were like 13, 14, 15 years old. It was enough for them to buy some cars. They made some good money. They bought some nice cars. You would think they'd be like, oh, nice, let's do this some more. Let's do some more deals. I want to do more real estate. Dad, tell me more about what you do, how you do it. If they were to know or see how much money I'm making in my education business, in software and done-for-you marketing and consulting and services and info products and all of that, you would think they would be like, Joe or Dad, can we help you? Can we do this as well? Because I'm making way more than, I don't want to brag, but I am going to humble brag here. I'm making way more than lawyers and doctors, okay? So it's a great business, but at what cost? Like this business, there is a lot of risk that you have to take, and it's not for everybody, and that's my point. My boys now, they don't want to do what Dad's doing. They would rather work at Smoothie King or at the car wash or DoorDash. One of my sons delivers a lot for Amazon. And I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Maybe, I don't want to push it on them. Maybe they just don't understand the value of a dollar yet. They don't understand like, oh my gosh, like you have to work really hard to make a little money. And they've just been living from home. So we do make them pay the car insurance, the cell phone bill. And the only thing they live for free at home as long as they're going to school, part-time or full-time, and working part-time or full-time. So anyway, my point in this is, as your kids are growing, man, I guess some advice that I could give, and I'm still in the middle of it, but like, don't knock college because it's important. I want all of my kids to go to college now. Before, I was like, no, I think college is dumb. But now, yeah, I think it's probably a good idea because you got to figure out what you want. And at college, you're going to meet people. You're going to make friendships and connections. You're going to learn about the world. You're going to learn the basics of, history and math and how to write, how to do a business plan. If you're taking some business majors and finance classes, you're going to learn about profit and loss statements and balance sheets. So guess what? That stuff's important. I didn't think it was important until I got $500-something thousand in taxes owed to the IRS. And I came this close to going to jail. I've talked about that before, by the way, if you've never heard me talk about that. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, I was in a huge IRS problem. It's all because I didn't understand the numbers. And now, I was an idiot, but like I was making a lot of money, but I was kept on paying my taxes late. I kept on filing extensions, and I kept on paying off my old taxes I'm making more money to pay off my old taxes, but then I wasn't getting current on my current taxes, and it just kept on snowballing, and I got into huge debt, and it was very embarrassing and humiliating and difficult, but we got through it because I implemented profit first. But here's my point in all of that. Like, there is some value and use in a business degree where you can learn about financial statements. You can learn about making money, what cash flow projections are, that kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying here? Now my boys, they're also thinking, it's funny because we've adopted all 4 of our kids. And I don't know if the entrepreneur gene is actually a thing, but some of them have it and some of them don't. Some of them want to go to college so they can start their own business. Every kid's different. And is there a one-size-fits-all blanket thing for everybody? No. You got to find out what your kids are interested in. You need to let them figure it out on their own. And it's funny because I have some friends who are in a similar situation. Their kids are getting older. And at first, they're like, no, college is dumb, big waste of money, big waste of time. But now, almost every single one of them is like, yeah, you should go to college. You should get a degree because it is important. You can learn a lot of valuable life skills. And you know what? You're only in your early 20s, late teens, early 20s. Man, you're not going to get it all figured out yet. You're not going to know where your life is going to go. And you're not going to have it figure it out. And things change. You may go one direction and you find out later, yeah, you know what? I don't like that direction. I'm going to go this way instead. So I guess my final advice is, as I go, ask God for wisdom. If anything, I have learned, and I still got a long ways to go, but when I ask God for wisdom, He gives it to me every single time. And He'll give it to you. He'll give it to your kids. You just ask for wisdom. Don't doubt in your heart, but believe. When you ask God for something, He's going to give it to you. So if you ask Him for wisdom, Lord, give me wisdom with my kids. Give my kids wisdom on what kind of college or career or business should they go into. Tech school or regular traditional college. Yeah. And God will give you wisdom. He'll give you favor and He'll help you because God knows we need it. All right, that's all I got. I just wanted to share that. Hopefully that helps some of you who have some kids and you're wondering, what on earth are they doing? What are they going to do? What am I going to do? It'll all work out. Okay, we'll see you guys. Bye-bye.